This is the Sports Timeout Podcast with Tony Caranco and your host, Wes Underwood.
That time again, everyone. Welcome into the Sports Timeout Podcast, brought to you by Blondie's Woodfire Wheelhouse Food Truck and Kraken Cajun Seafood House in Joplin. Blondie's Woodfire is closed right now. They're out for the season until March Madness begins, so be looking for them there. And, well, if you're still in the mood for some fresh Cajun, Kraken Cajun Seafood House across from Moe's in Joplin is open. And, so Wes Underwood alongside Tony and Tristen. Welcome back in, fellas. How are we?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Not too bad. Good to hear that you guys are doing good. And, well, first up, we'll go ahead and talk PGA and Pebble. And, well, even though you butchered his name, congratulations, Tristen, on calling the winner and Tom Hoagie there. Any words of wisdom on your pick here?
Well, the top 10 kind of...
Yeah, nobody really cares. Appreciate that, but no speeches yet, not until the end. But we're going to go ahead and head into the NBA and talk James Harden. He's going to head into the Philadelphia 76ers now. And are you guys annoyed by this trade? Do you like the trade? Do you think the 76ers are going to be better now? Tony, you can go ahead and start.
I don't know enough about basketball to give a real solid opinion. I just know that lately basketball hasn't been what it was even 5 years ago. It's very political, really hard to watch.
Yeah.
A lot of crying. Man, it gets really bad ratings now. It's really just kind of there for a small demographic of people to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree there. I like it enough when playoffs roll around. All-Star game, get me some popcorn. I'll watch that. I love the slam dunk competition, which is coming up pretty soon. But Tristen, what are your thoughts here on James Harden?
I honestly, it kind of caught me by surprise that they were going to trade James Harden away for Ben Simmons. But overall, I think it's a good move. I think it will satisfy both parties in a way. I'm kind of interested on James Harden's thoughts on being traded because being one of the top guys in the NBA, that probably stings a little bit knowing that
it sounded like he kind of wanted out of there, though. Sorry to interrupt, but I mean, it's weird that he's just wanting out of these places because I feel like some drama gets started between him and a lead guy on the team, and then boom, he's gone. He just wants to leave. So I don't know. I feel like he's probably got some feelings towards it, but go ahead and continue here. We'll go.
Well, I think honestly, Steph Curry and Golden State has a lot to do with it because now I think a lot of the teams now are trying to get that, big starting five like Curry and Klay Thompson and stuff. So I think with the way Golden State has gone about playing basketball in the last five plus years, I think everyone's trying to duplicate that. And it's really starting to show, like Tony was saying, the politics in it, and it's just a money thing at this point.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, everybody's also striving to go get that ring and whatnot. So, and speaking of that, we'll continue with some basketball, but we'll head on over to the NCAA as this week the number one team in the AP poll goes down as Arkansas takes down Auburn in overtime. It was a fantastic game to watch. I'm excited. Are we inching closer to March Madness or what? Do you guys think after this win, though, for Arkansas that they can crack the top 10? They're now 19-5. They are third in the SEC behind 20-4 Kentucky, and Auburn is now 22-2. And both of those guys are currently in the top 5. I'm kind of upset here that Arkansas is not in the top 5 yet. So what are your guys' thoughts on this here? Tristen, we'll go ahead.
I think when it comes to Arkansas, yeah, I don't have their schedule pulled up or anything, but you know, it seems like they haven't played big enough teams up until they played Auburn and um, won in spectacular fashion. So to kind of answer your question, I would probably put them in between 25 and 15. I wouldn't exactly go all the way up to 15, but within.
You don't think they should crack the top 10 at all?
No,
I know you're an
not if.
OU fan. It's clear right there. We can see that. Okay. But
No,
speaking unbiasedly.
well, unbiasedly, I don't think you take a team like Arkansas and put them that far ahead of everyone else.
Okay.
Especially with teams that have stuck around in the top 25 the whole season.
Yeah.
I think 20 would be the highest I'd probably put them.
So you do have them
Considering
making the field of 60, 64, 66, 68, somewhere in there. I don't remember what it is these days. I just remember field of 64. I mean, nobody really
Right.
pays attention to the playing game much anyway. And we'll go ahead and switch over here though. Tristen, you got it there. And Tony, what you got?
Yeah, well, basketball is just one of those sports where, I've said it so many times on the show that anything that happens in professional sports, but basketball is where you really can see it more times than not. Um, with that being said, should they be in the top 25 now? Yes, I believe so. They be in the top 10? Probably not.
Okay.
It just means that Auburn was just seated way too high, in my opinion. Um, but maybe anywhere between 15 and 11. They probably fall somewhere in there. But another thing, like Tristan said, they haven't played anybody. I can't really testify to that or not. It maybe just comes down to the fact that they were just a little bit healthier than Auburn was. Maybe Auburn's competition's a little bit tougher, and they just came out and they felt good, they played good, and then ended up coming out with a W. I don't know what the Auburn schedule was like, but I'm just maybe since they haven't played such tough teams, their overall condition is better than Auburn's team.
Auburn, number 22 Kentucky early in the season. They lost there 115 to 109. And going to go ahead and look this up here since we're on the topic. They did play number 24 Alabama. They did win that. They played number 12 Kentucky. They did win that. And obviously they lose to Arkansas, who's unranked. And then on the Arkansas side, man, let's go ahead and look at their record here and hopefully get that pulled up real quick. Yes, Arkansas. They started off the season against Mercer. Okay. They did lose to OU. So there you go, Tristen. That's for you, 88 to 66. They then lost to Hofstra early on in the season, but now they're on a win streak. And I mean, they beat number 12 LSU. So that's a credible win. They beat number 1 Auburn this last week. That's a credible win. They're going to come back and play Alabama coming up this Saturday. They got Mizzou after that. And then number 19, Tennessee. That's not too bad of a team. Tennessee's been pretty good. Then they got Florida. Then they are against number 5, Kentucky. And then they end the season with LSU and number 19, Tennessee. So I guess, if they continue this win streak and they come out on top of that, then I'm okay with them being in the top 10. But I'll agree for now. They had a really good streak last year in the tournament and they came out pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, they didn't win, but they still came out and had fun. And I think they won 3-4 games in the tournament. So, okay, I'll see you guys there. I'll meet with you. Next up, we'll go ahead and talk NFL head coaching spots. And we start Vikings new head coach, Kevin O'Connell, the 36-year-old, currently coaching with the Rams as the offensive coordinator. He's lost everywhere but with the Rams. So I'm not 100% on this one, but I guess we'll see. Do you guys kind of feel that way on that as well? Tristen, we'll go ahead and start you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was had a brain fart there for a minute. What was the
All
question?
right, we'll go ahead and mute you, Tony. What do you think here?
I don't really know enough about either the coaches or anything really to give a solid opinion on this one.
Just say no. Just say no.
No, definitely not.
Next up, we have the Giants. They get Brian Dable there, and a lot of things going on with that one. Flores thinks he gets the job from Bill Belichick. It's a whole nother issue. I mean, they got a lot going on, but the guy did win Super Bowls in New England. He hasn't done much in Buffalo, but he blames it on the coach, Sean McDermott. So I say he'll probably take that team 500. Tristen, anything on that one?
Yeah, I think he will. There's a lot of good talent on that team, and with the NFL being how it is, one good move can switch a whole team around. Especially with the news coming out the last couple of days about Lovie Smith going to Houston. Glad to see him back in the league. So maybe Houston will end up doing something next year. Who knows?
You and I guess, are the only ones who are really in favor of that, because a lot of the NFL people are not happy about that move. They think it's kind of weak, but I think he'll do something there. Tony, any thoughts on that one?
Man, I wish I knew more about the coaches. The only one that I really know anything about is the Kansas City offensive coordinator that is still the offensive coordinator. That's really the only thing that I kind of.
Someone who hates Kansas City sports and doesn't like Patrick Mahomes. He sure knows a lot about the team. So, just saying, you should get in.
It would be, my life would be 10 times easier if I was a Kansas City fan, but there's some people that just make that difficult for me. Well, to kind of shift topic a little bit. To me, it's surprising that he's still at Kansas City. I don't know if it's just because no one could offer him the money he was wanting, or
I think it's because of his past. I really do. Some shady things going on. I feel bad for him too. I mean, I think he's done a great job, and Coach Reed gave him a chance, but I think it's just based off of what happened in his past with some things.
Really, I don't know much about his past.
Yeah, I do. And next, we'll go ahead and head to the Dolphins. Lots of things going on here as well. I mean, kind of the same thing with the Giants, but Mike McDaniel, 38-year-old, I really like it. Did good in San Francisco over the last few years. He had some terrible teams before, but I feel like he can relate to Tua and get things going. Tristen, same boat?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And again, to kind of compare with Lovie Smith, Lovie Smith, especially in Chicago, he kind of bounced around.
Get it again there. I mean, we're going to get to Lovie Smith here in a minute. I know you like him, so I'll let you talk there on that one. Let's go ahead and go to the Bears, and they pick up Matt Aber. Eberflus. I like this. Mizzou alum. He did do a lot in Dallas and did well in Indy. I like it. Lots of upside in him. I'll go ahead and move on to the Jaguars so we can get some things going. I'll let you get to Lovie Smith here. Doug Peterson, we can talk on this too. I mean, he did land on his feet. I knew he would, and I like him with Trevor Lawrence. What do you got here, Tristen?
Man, Doug Peterson has a Super Bowl, and I think a lot of people, and it wasn't like 15 years ago that he won a Super Bowl. It was literally within the last 5 years he won a Super Bowl with Philly. So
a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, so why he didn't get a chance sooner and spent this much time unemployed, or if he was unemployed, I'm not very for certain that, but the point
Neither
that
of us passed gas on this show. That was a car going by. So if you all heard that, sorry about that. Continue.
But yeah, it just kind of surprises me he didn't get a chance sooner, because he has won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Especially with that season, with so much adversity that team went through and still come out on top. I mean, you got to give props where it's due, and a lot of that has to do with Nick Foles and Doug Peterson himself. So I think Doug Peterson's going to do a great job, and I never really had a doubt that he wouldn't have done a good job. So props to him for coming back and being able to be a head coach again, and hopefully he gets another Super Bowl.
Yep, and Tony, one of your teams coming up next, the Raiders here, hired Josh McDaniels. He did with the Broncos, won Super Bowls in New England. I mean, for me, we'll see. Depends on who he picks at QB and the rest of his staff coming into place. I like it. I mean, do you agree here, Tony, or do you see some upside for the Raiders here?
I mean, I think they could put just about anybody a head coach, and that's not going to solve the problem. Yeah. You can have Bill Belichick as a head coach, and he's not going to solve it. Really,
who's the problem in Las Vegas?
Part of it is Las Vegas itself. You have a bunch of young guys with a bunch of money.
Yeah.
It's not a good combo.
Okay.
Two, you have the organization. It needs different leadership. And obviously that's ultimately up to the owners. So, are they going to let go of it? Are they going to get a different GM? Whatever. It's they need to do something, but before they don't change the base of everything, they're not really going to ever get a stellar team, because they have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
They could have made it very far this year. I mean, I guess they kind of did, but they could have made it further. And with the talent that they had, and they lost players throughout the season.
They should have definitely hired the guy that got him to the playoffs. He did good against the Bengals, in my opinion. He almost got them kicked out of the playoffs, and a lot of people would have been happy with that. The only ones that are super happy about it are the Bengals fans. So,
yep.
Any thoughts here, Tristen, or good to move on?
I'm kind of on the opposite side of Tony here. I think there's a lot of problems in Vegas. You kind of got to ask yourself the same question: is would John Gruden or Henry Ruggs, if they were still on the team, would they have made it that far or not? That question will, I guess, always be up in the air to true Raider fans. But I see a lot of upside with Vegas in the next coming years. I think with that again, I think there's a lot of upside. Derek Carr, he is a franchise quarterback. He's just got to be under the right system, and I think a lot of it has to do with offensive line and the whole offense in general. So with all the drama that happened this season now gone and past, I'm really excited to see how far the Raiders are able to go in the next coming seasons.
All right. Okay.
Well, I hope you're right.
I'm not a Raider hater, so
no, I get that.
We'll go ahead and move on to the Broncos here. Nathaniel Hackett, I like it. It's up in the air for right now, but I do like it. I think things could go well if everything goes well with John Elway, and they could get back to winning things. Lastly, the Texans and Lovie Smith. Tristen, go for it.
Man, Lovie Smith. I kind of feel bad for Houston in general, as an organization. Not so much for Deshaun Watson, whatever he allegedly did. Whatever, we're not going to get into that. But as the Houston Texans as an organization, I think Lovie Smith is a really, really good fit for him. They get a lot of heat for being as bad as they have been the last couple of years, but really I don't see it. I see a lot of raw talent. It's a young team, and like I was saying earlier, they just need that one piece, and hopefully Lovie Smith can do it for them. Maybe they'll end up getting a new quarterback in the near future, depending on what they end up doing with Deshaun Watson. But overall, I think it's a really good hire.
I believe Deshaun Watson's in and out of there wholeheartedly. Believe it. He's either going to get traded or he's just going to be released by the team. He'll get paid his money either way, but I mean, they paid him a lot. So we'll see. And next up, I want to go ahead and talk Chiefs. And Tony, I believe you wanted this a couple weeks ago, but after a picture I saw, people are comparing Mahomes to Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Lamar Jackson. I agree here in what comes next, though, and they shouldn't be compared to him yet. Mahomes has been an MVP. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been in 2 back-to-back Super Bowls, has gone to and hosted 4 straight AFC championships. He was a Super Bowl MVP, and he's also been to 4 Pro Bowls in his first 4 seasons and played 2 of them injured in those seasons as well, of those 4 seasons. I mean, who else has done that? People need to realize what this guy has done, and with almost nothing, I mean, his defense pretty much hasn't been there for a few times. They aren't top tier. His offense has been healthy maybe once in the 4 years. They've had to bring in a lot of people. So cut the man a break here. And he has already had a Hall of Fame career, in my opinion, in 4 years. And another fact, in his first year to go up against his Hall of Fame status here, almost reaching Manning's NFL record of 5,000 plus yards and 55 touchdowns, just falling short by 5 touchdowns. And that is of Manning, and tying Brady. And those 2 guys had pretty much their whole career. They had to do that, and he did that in his first year. So I think he's top tier. I think he's caliber. You give him a lot of crud. I understand. I know a lot of people don't like his cockiness, mainly his brother and his fiance, soon-to-be wife.
He's a crybaby.
Say what?
Yeah, he's a crybaby.
He does a little bit. There's no doubt. I mean, Brady did it the best, though, and a lot of people love Brady. So,
yeah, I like his little walk that he does. It's funny. Man, no, yeah, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback, in fact. But if I would choose to have Josh Allen in the pocket,
yeah,
or behind center, whatever, I would choose Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes. Simply because even though Patrick Mahomes' potential is a 99,
yeah,
at his worst, he is still, maybe an 85, 87.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And Josh Allen, you don't really see that. He fluctuates anywhere between a 93 to a 96, and he stays there. He's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he's made it to the four AFC championships, he's made it to 2 Super Bowls, I think that's great. But he's only won 1 Super Bowl. At the end of the day, that's really all that matters. And if you can't win more Super Bowls, you're no better than Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is great, but he only has 1 Super Bowl to show for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. Speaking of Super Bowl, next up, we'll go ahead and talk Super Bowl. Who's going to win the big game this Sunday between the Bengals and the Rams? Tristen, who you got?
That's a hard one. Because I really want to see Joe Burrow win one, but I also think Stafford is way more deserving of it, considering he had to waste all of his time in Detroit. Sorry, Lions fans, whoever may be listening, but
it is between the Bengals and the Rams here. And let's not talk Detroit. Tony, who you got? Tristen, come back to you.
I want the Bengals to win, but it's gonna be a really, really tough game, regardless.
Okay.
I don't think Joe Burrow has a solid O line, but I mean they've looked okay. Not last week, but the week before. So maybe they'll show up. I'm pulling for the Bengals on this.
Okay. Tristen? Bengals or Rams?
I'm going with the Rams. I'm going with the Rams. I'm not even going to make any.
Okay.
The final answer right there. That's
Home
it's
field
the Rams.
advantage. Okay. I have to agree with Tristen here. I respect Joe Burrow. I do. But Tony, the offensive line is questionable for me, and this Rams defense is going to come to play. They have been at home for 2 weeks now. They've been with their families. They're not going to be far from their families. They're going to be well rested. They ain't losing any sleep. The Bengals, they're going out. They're just doing some stuff. I mean, yeah, they're being a team and being together, and they're doing some superstitious things like avoiding going around separate poles. Don't really know what that means, but I agree. I'll go with Tristen here though, and pick up on the Rams. I really like Stafford, and he's got a lot to prove, and I think he's just got that chip on his shoulder that he needs to get off before he can retire as well. So,
yep,
And I
agree.
think the Rams. I think the Rams are also more of a complete team to kind of go off what you were saying, Wes. Defensively, I mean, you got Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and Von Miller. So, I mean, just to name those three guys, I'm more of a complete team in my opinion, offensively and defensively. So, yeah, I got the Rams in this one.
okay. We will now head into the 2-minute warning brought to you by Trackside Burger. Now under new ownership, go check them out today and get some, barbecue this weekend. They're going to have some barbecue going, and I'm excited for that. I believe it was pork belly, something along those lines. But this week in the 2-minute warning, the Southern women's basketball team will continue their homestand, and this week taking on Northwest Missouri at 1:30 p.m. with the men to follow. And then we've got, looking it up here real quick again, just to make sure, Pitt State women's basketball, they will play host to Missouri Western at 1:30 p.m. with the men to follow. And then we now head to baseball, as the Southern baseball team will head to Florida and take on Palm Beach Atlantic. That sounds fantastic. Palm Beach Atlantic University, they play tonight at 6 p.m. in West Palm Beach. Then they will travel to Fort Lauderdale to play Nova Southern University in a doubleheader beginning at 3 p.m. And as for Pitt State baseball, they will head to Henderson State and play in their invite today beginning at 2 p.m. as they face off against Henderson State, Arkadelphia, Arkansas. That's where they'll be playing. And then tomorrow they will play beginning at 1 against, I'm not even going to say it, something Baptist. And then at 6 p.m. against Southern Arkansas. So that will be a fun weekend for Pitt State baseball. As for softball, Missouri Southern will open up this weekend in the Edmond Regional Festival today, and with a game against Midwestern State beginning at noon. Then tomorrow they will play 2 games, one against Southwestern Oklahoma State beginning at 12:45, and then at 3 they will face off against Cameron. And then Sunday they will wrap it up, a 5-game road trip against Southern Nazarene at 10:30 a.m. and in the weekend with number 15 ranked Oklahoma Christian at 12:45 p.m. All these games will be played in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. For Pitt State softball, they will begin at Alvey Early Memorial, something like that. I'm just butchering these names, man. At that classic, as they play today at 3 p.m. versus William Jewell. Then tomorrow they have a doubleheader beginning with Quincy at 11 a.m. and then they will take on Maryville at 1 p.m. and then they will wrap up their weekend Sunday taking on Wayne State at 11 a.m., followed by Harding State at 1 p.m. These games will take place in Bentonville, Arkansas for the Pitt State Gorillas. And then we're going to go ahead and end on the Jefferson's local sports update here. And, well, Joplin is going to be playing at home tonight. The boys are. It's going to be a fun game. And we are going to see some local action in Webb City as well. And I believe Webb City is going to be taking on, Joplin has Republic at home. Webb City will play host to Nixa tonight, and it's homecoming for Webb City. And then next up, Carl Junction will play host to Ozark. Then Neosho will play host to Branson. And lastly, Carthage Boys will play host to Willard. And all these games, of course, will start at 7:30 p.m. And so, it's a lot going on here, fellas. A lot of games that we could go catch if we really wanted to and have some fun. Of course, all these games and events are pending to weather and the current and fluid COVID-19 situation. So tune into each team's social media pages for times and updates. And, well, the music's here. And so is the end of another episode, our first virtual episode. We'll get better with this, folks. And for Tony, myself, and Tristen, have a great and safe weekend. Enjoy some sports. Again, lots of local action tonight and tomorrow. Playoff football going on. Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl. And then Valentine's on Monday. We got a lot going on. Congratulations to our winners. And hopefully you guys have a great and safe weekend. And we'll see you here next week on the Sports Timeout podcast. Peace out.